this is Marley K. I have a very interesting story that I want to share with you. Haven't seen it anyplace else mainstream, and I'm not surprised because a lot of censoring is happening. But I found this story on a couple of blogs, and I did some searching through international means and found in the individual journalists talking about it, but it's not in any mainstream um, media sources. So it's likely has some validity to it, but I just want to share it because it will impact us here in the US. So, and it's tied to this digital currency that they want to launch in addition to um, bricks and some other things. But the money is about to get funny for us, and we need to understand that. Okay, so here it says the president of Kenya urges citizens to get rid of US dollar soon. And you can see this operation, that word I'm not going to say in case this gets censored. All right, the president of Kenya today announced to all citizens they should get rid of any US dollars they may be holding because they will become worthless within weeks. William Kipchirchir Arap Ruto, a Kenyan politician who is serving as the fifth and current president of Kenya since September 22. Prior to becoming president, he served as the first deputy president of Kenya from 2013 to 2022. Today, in a nationally televised speech in Kenya, Ruto said, "Those of you who are holding dollars, you shortly might go into losses. You better do what you have to do because this market will be different in a couple of weeks." Here is the actual video. You can hear him say it for yourselves. So I'm going to play the video. Let's see if I can make my screen small. I don't know why it's so big. All right. So I've always told y'all that when you see um, foreigners or other countries, their citizens, we need to pay attention. So we need to pay attention to this. Stunning announcement gives credibility to a rumor that has been circulating for over a year that 142 countries around the world have quietly agreed to what they call the thing in the title. According to the rumor, the title name will put the US dollar to sleep by having all of the countries repudiate the currency on the same day and refuse to continue accepting it for payment in trade. And so this would explain why there has been like an influx of nations wanting to join BRICS lately, because everybody is trying to get away from using the US dollar or being in any systems with us because of the fear of retaliation. So this is just another sign that we are no longer a superpower. We are just a power of declining civilization, and we are at the end of it. We are a failed state. Countries around the world began planning this when they witnessed the, I'm going to say, politics in Congress go on a spending spree of trillions of dollars in omnibus bills. Those countries realized there is nothing backing the value of the US dollar, and they saw that Congress has no plans to rein in spending. One country's finance ministry recently told the US, "We are no longer willing to accept ones and zeros in a bank computer as actual payment for real goods." The countries agreed that holding US currency has become foolish because it was becoming worthless on its face thanks to all the rampant overspending by the US government. Now it appears those countries may actually take action within a couple of weeks. If countries around the world repudiate the dollar as payment for goods and trade, then they would halt providing manufactured goods or raw materials unless paid in some currency other than dollars. Since the US barely does any manufacturing at all, thanks to politicians, let's just say that, then products we buy in stores will simply run out and we will be unable to restock because no one will want our money. So um, it's really difficult for you to find anything in a store these days that's made in America. And so, if all these countries that we do trade with and that who makes products that we consume, we won't have those things if we don't have the money to pay for them. And if our dollars are worthless, it means the price of those things are going to go up because we will have to pay in a different currency. Since our currency will be worthless, we're going to end up spending more to buy other currency, to buy the things that we need to. So basically, we'll be doing what we forced other countries to do. Babylon is falling. Among um, the politicians are also those who pushed for free trade, claiming it would improve sales of American made goods overseas if America agreed to halt tariffs on all imported items. The government brought into the idea, not realizing or caring that these very businessmen weren't at all interested in selling more American goods overseas. What they were interested in was shipping American jobs overseas, taking advantage of cheap labor, then shipping those exact same products back to the US to sell at the same high prices while pocketing the profit from the new foreign cheap labor without having to pay tariffs. So, retaliation against the people who did this should be swift and ferocious when Americans can no longer buy even life's basics because corporate titans and certain others stripped our country of manufacturing. And I can attest to this because during the 90s, when we were all getting laid off and our plants were closing, a lot of us ended up having to get retrained for something else. And, here we are again 20 years later, and what we were retrained in now is worthless because the economy has collapsed. Nobody wants to pay you what you're worth and your degree is basically worthless now. Anywho, it says readers should make a list for themselves of all basics we take for granted and make certain you have a bunch stocked up. And so he has a list of things like underwear and socks and coats, hats, clothing. Head to your kitchen and see if you need any pots, pans, utensils, glasses, cutting boards. Do you have a sewing box or kit? You need needles and thimbles, buttons. And if you are a man or handy person like myself, you need power tools, saws, chisels, grease guns, etc., etc. The list of everyday things we all take for granted is almost never ending, and I'm certain I missed a whole slew of things, but you get the idea. Almost none of these things are made here anymore, and if you're running low or your stuff is old and wearing out, you need to get these things in your possession while you still can. If these foreign countries do what it seems the president of Kenya has hinted they are going to do, then all these things become scarce overnight and will remain scarce for years. I'm sure there are many things that you can think of. Whatever they are, get them fast. All right, so that is the heads up. I'm passing it along to you, and hopefully, you've been preparing for the last couple of years anyway. But, you know, um, let me give you a little brief about Hal Turner. Hal Turner is the only living American media member imprisoned for writing a news editorial the 44th president didn't like. The only other American media member ever imprisoned for an editorial was this person, grandson of Benjamin Franklin, in the year 1798, which talked about the Alien and Sedition Act. He died of yellow fever while awaiting trial. Thus, you should pay very close attention to what Hal says because them folks is fearful of what he has to say. Alrighty. So you have an idea of who this person is, and this story that I just read you comes from his site. So I'll put the link in the description. Hopefully the video does not out. But again, pay attention over the next couple of weeks as they get ready to transition. You may think it doesn't impact you, but it will impact us in our daily comfort items, conveniences. Our lives are going to be changed. So make sure you do what you need to do. Make sure you get what you need to get, and just keep your head on the swivel, people. Pray, repent, ask the Most High to guide you during this most difficult time, and get into your word because it's getting ready to get rough out here in a couple of weeks. All right, I am out.